Well, hello and welcome back to the most comprehensive metaphysical reading on the internet, or maybe anywhere. It is essentially a tarot reading. Do not be confused. This is called the Tao Manifesting Tarot. Today we're focusing on your inner voice as it guides you. And we're going to do that through utilizing the energy, the frequency of 3 tarot cards. And this is a tarot reading that is grounded in reality. We don't do fantasy stuff. We don't do rainbows, unicorns, any of that crap. Magic frequencies from outer space, which takes tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years to interact with us. We take the information that is available right now. You want to call where you're living the matrix? That's fine. Everybody has a slightly different view, sometimes more radical, but a different matrix that they're dealing with. And that's the point of this tarot reading. I've done tarot for over 20 years. In that time, I found out that, from my point of view, tarot forecasts, predicts nothing. Once in a while, you get a little lucky, maybe stumble on something, but by and large, no. But that's not its job. Tarot is the science of potential, your potential to tap into a frequency. Yes, you're living in a matrix, but frequencies are hitting you all the time. The question is, and here's the science of potential. You say yes or no. Or maybe don't make a decision, which is still a decision. But frequencies are always coming to you in whatever matrix you find yourself. Yes, as humanity, we are sharing a large platformed matrix, but in our own lives, we have smaller versions. That's not the point. High quality tarot gives you the opportunity to interact in a positive, self affirming way. And that's what I aim to do. So we are critically thoughtful. Human imagination, the ability to manifest, is the kryptonite that every single human being has, and believe it or not, uses, but not in productive ways. We're not taught to empower ourselves. Remember, as George Carlin said, we were meant to be trained monkeys, not thinking human beings. Human doings, working, not human beings. And so because of that, our imagination gets solidified. We become less and less creative. We're unable to think for ourselves. And in fact, given this addiction called technology, we are more inclined to give up our thinking ability than I can believe. I mean, I understand it. I'm dealing with the stuff, but I try to do it at an arm's distance. Because the minute I let the technology in to become an addiction, I've lost. That's how manifesting works. Proper manifesting means that you take the images, the pictures, the feeling, the smells from within inside your experience and project them outward. And what we're doing now is taking all the crap that they're throwing at us, this artificial intelligence bullshit, and we're soaking it up like it's real. Great. What that does is make you dumber, less creative, more controllable. There are a number of high quality studies over the past 30, 40 years that have made that absolutely clear. But then that's the plan. So, again, no fantasy, no rainbows, no unicorns. We deal with the matrix we are all living in. Because that's where you begin. You begin at where you are. You don't go somewhere else in your head, which a lot of people these days are doing. I just don't want to know. It's uncomfortable for me. Who cares? Who cares? You're living in this matrix. start to get ready. Now, along with the tarot, I also do astrology numerology. I've done tarot for 20 years, astrology numerology for 50. I can't even believe I just said that. Anyway, astrology numerology, the science of cycles. Tarot, the science of potential. It's a perfect marriage. So, what I do in this reading is I start with the astrology, the numerology, where applicable. Let's lay out this matrix. Let's lay out this pattern. Because history repeats, because the cycles in astrology and numerology repeat. Some can take an hour or two, some can take a day or two, month or two, year or two, century or two, longer than that. So, that being the case, the astrology helps us understand the energy. Coming up next year, the United States will celebrate 250 years as a democratic republic if we survive. Assuming that we do, we see that the same energy that existed when we signed the Declaration of Independence 250 years ago, 1776, is back. Pluto, Uranus, in the same spots they were the day that we declared our independence, they hit exactly about 1 to 2 years ago, exactly. But because these are such distant planets, they carry generational impact, and so we felt it a few years before. We're still feeling it. Pluto, evolution. Uranus, revolution. What do we got in the world? We know we have to change. We know we have to evolve. Are we going to do it? Or are we going to let the technocrats, the oligarchs, are we going to let them control us? Well, one of the ways that we can do that is let's follow the theme of today's tarot reading: inner voice guidance. You have the answer. You know what the answer is. You may not have all the specific detail. That's not important. Begin where you are. And that begins with you, with each of us individually. Inner voice guidance. That's what we're going to focus on. We're going to use the astrology to take us to the tarot, present the frequencies, and then you determine your potential in all of this. But before we get too involved, let me remind you I do have an email, tau-tarot@proton.me, tau-tarot@proton.me. I got off the Gmail train, walked away from my G-spot, so to speak. So the new email address, tau-tarot@proton.me. By the way, that .me, I had nothing to do with it. That's what they have. They have either a .com or .me. It put me in the .me category. So it's tau-tarot@proton.me. Write me good, bad, indifferent. You can swear at me. You can yell at me. We can have a great discussion. It's up to you. The door is wide open. Tau-tarot@proton.me. Alrighty, so let's get to the big astrology thing, huh? Astrologic. You see up in the left-hand corner, Conquest of America. Since July 4th of this year, understanding that next year is our 250th anniversary as a nation, I decided let's take a look at the history of America through the eyes of astrology. Remember, history repeats. And we've been picking up patterns of energy and then fitting them in and seeing how they fit today. And it's amazing. It's always amazing. Just did the thing there about the Declaration of Independence and what we're going through, not just in the country today, but around the world. And in fact, 1492, Pluto and Neptune were together in the sky. They take 500 years to do that again. So from 1492, you go to 1992, and what happened around that time? Oh, George H.W. Bush, the criminal he is or was, declared the New World Order. 1492, the New World. 1992, the New World Order. You see the connections? So let's get to it. We are looking at 1990 to 1995. This is the period where the deep state got strong enough they got cocky. And they began crushing the U.S. Constitution. Because remember, it was in 1991 that George Bush declared the New World Order. Well, that's the deep state. But what else happened in those 5 years, 1990 to 1995? We had the Persian Gulf War, which turned out to be a fiasco. The Hubble Space Telescope, which is providing information, but I don't know how helpful it is. We had the Human Genome Project, genetics. Look how important that is today. mRNA vaccines changing our genetics. Latest report says that they're finding the mRNA from the vaccines in cancer cells. Amazon opens up for business. And something we're dealing with for sure, Soviet Union becomes Russia. So no more Soviet Union. We're done with that. We're now going to be Russia. When that happened, the walls of Jericho fell. We'll have more information. But from 1990 to 1995, the deep state began to crush our Constitution. They went for it just a few years later, full force, and did a hell of a job. But boy, that's quite a list, huh? Persian Gulf, Hubble Space, Human Genetics or Human Genome Project. Soviet Union becomes Russia. We're dealing with those things today. And you look at the astrology, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they were all in complementary signs. They talked about the future. They talked about power. They talked about secrets on a big, big scale. You could say global. And then we had Jupiter kind of sort of sitting by itself, not really, but in some regards. And the Jupiter in Libra at the time is just a pretty face. They put a pretty face, a positive face on all this mischief. The Persian Gulf War, the Human Genome Project. They were doing nasty shit, but they put a nice face on it. Oh, yeah, it's technology. Oh, yeah, it's going to be, oh, yeah. What they did was put lipstick on a pig. We now know that. Didn't know that at the time, but we got that down. Let's go to the meme. This is Benjamin Netanyahu. You are probably familiar with him. 1990, he said, America is a golden calf. We will suck it dry. Chop it off. Sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we will create and control. We will destroy America very slowly. Bottom right of the screen, you're seeing a picture of usury in the Middle Ages. That's what the Jews used. That's why they were kicked out of more than 200 countries in over 3,000 years. Everywhere they went, they were kicked out eventually. They didn't leave. Probably the same thing happened in Egypt, by the way, my guess. And the reason they did was this is where they got their wealth. They crumbled empires. They crumbled countries. And when that happened, the king, queen, whatever, just tossed their ass out. Over 1,000 times in more than 200 countries. They couldn't plant anything anywhere because they're liars, cheats, and thieves. Usury. And the bottom left, empires fall, no matter how big, when the people remember they have the power. That's the whole point of this thing. We're talking about the manifesting guidance today, inner voice guidance. You know what the real deal is, but still you act like you don't. Here's the missing link. This is the pressure huge majority of people, certainly the middle class, although it's disappearing. The very richest, 0.5% control and dominate in almost every way the other 99%. And they don't give a damn. Because we don't care, apparently. Although people are beginning to protest now, people are beginning to stand up. Remember, previous screen, Empires fall when the people remember their power. Keep that in mind. Let's go to the tarot now. Signs of potential. We have the Star card, which talks about relief and healing. Reaching out, looking to heal. Find a chance to catch your breath. When you can catch your breath, you have a chance to heal. That's what we're headed for. Next card is the Chariot card. What it basically says is that this guy in the Chariot is ruling with his subconscious. He has deep knowing, just like you do. You know inside of your bones, you know what the hell's going on. You know what the game is. No, you don't have all the details. That doesn't make any difference. You still know. And that's the Chariot power, subconscious taking over. And it's doing it more and more with people on a day-to-day basis. Encouraging. And the final card, the Queen of Swords. Honest, insightful, truthful. That's what's going to make all the difference. You're looking for a break. You're looking for a chance to catch your breath, to heal. Well, pay attention to what's going on in your subconscious, because it right now is yelling at you. Take that guidance and start being honest and truthful with yourself. It's the only way you're going to find your way out of this. Remember, tarot is the science of potential. Are you going to exercise your potential, or are you going to roll over again and hand them a tube of KY jelly in the process? It's up to you. It's up to all of us individually. Up to all of us individually. The inner voice guidance. Pay attention. That's it for today. We're out of time. I thank you so much. Time is the one thing you cannot buy. So for you to stop by and listen, spend some of your day, God bless you. Thank you so much. And I give you the very best I have to give to make it the most powerful, effective, clear, concise reading that you're going to get anywhere. Please help me out. Like and subscribe. You know what's going on the internet. If you don't, trust me. The reason you don't, they don't want you to see it. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Hey, between now and the next time you and I do this tarot thing together, peace and blessings.